Welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called Be a Good Ancestor. This book is written by Leona Prince and Gabrielle Prince of Lake Baby Nation and illustrated by Carla Joseph, who is a Cree artist from British Columbia. I look forward to reading this beautiful book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time.
Be a good ancestor. Be a good ancestor with water. Raindrops become puddles, puddles become streams, streams become rivers, rivers become life. Be a good ancestor with the land. Seeds become seedlings, seedlings become trees, trees become forests, forests become oxygen. Be a good ancestor with living things that fly. Eggs become hatchlings, hatchlings become fledglings, fledglings become eagles, eagles become iconic. Be a good ancestor with living things that swim. Eggs become fry, fry become alevins, alevins become sockeyes, sockeyes become nourishment. Be a good ancestor with living things that walk. Newborns become cubs, cubs become young bears become grizzlies, grizzlies become balance. Be a good ancestor with your neighbors. Neighbors become friends, friends become communities, communities become nations, nations become allies. Be a good ancestor with your thoughts. Thoughts become ideas, ideas become actions, actions become movements, movements become change. Be a good ancestor with your words. Words become expressions, expressions become stories, stories become narratives, narratives become truth. Be a good ancestor with your feelings. Feelings become compassion, compassion becomes understanding, understanding becomes beliefs, beliefs become values. Be a good ancestor with yourself. Children become adults, adults become leaders, leaders become elders, elders become ancestors. The end. Thank you so much for reading this book with me today. Be a good ancestor. I look forward to reading more books with you, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a beautiful day and be a good ancestor.
Welcome to Soul Story Time. Today we're going to be reading a book called Minnow, the Girl Who Became Part Fish. This book is created by Willie Pole, who is of the Métis Nation of Ontario, and Bailey Mackerby, who is of Cree, Métis, and Ukrainian descent. I look forward to reading this fun book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time.
Minnow, the girl who became part fish. Minnow lived along the wide open sea, where she could always be found cleaning up debris. Minnow was named after the smallest of fish. To live in the ocean was Minnow's deepest wish. She walked along the beach collecting heaps of trash. She watched the waves and the rocks collide and crash. This day was different, and Minnow could tell. Today's tide was so strong, It took every rock and every shell. The sky was dark and a storm was rolling in. In the great ocean's distance, Minnow spotted a fin. She ran along the beach and yelled at the whale, and in that instant she was growing a tail. Her eyes grew wide as she saw her hands turn to fins. A long fish tail grew where she used to have shins. Minnow then plunged into the ocean's depths. This new world before her now looked so complex. The water was dark and the creatures were in dismay. They knew humans too well and did not want to be the next fillet. Minnow reached out, but they wouldn't come near. She then shouted at them, "What is it you fear?" A single fish stopped and swam up to her nose. He said, "Your kind are not good, and the threat only grows." The fish shouted at her, his eyes big and wide, "Half fish and half girl, you must choose a side." I wonder what she'll choose. And with that, the fish waved his fin to the girl. "Follow me, and I will show you our world." Together they set off into the unknown. In no time at all, they uncovered a large whalebone. "Oh no!" Minnow shrieked. "How could it be? He is the largest and most powerful in the sea." The fish merely scowled and pointed his fin. "Don't you see all that netting he got caught up in?" Oh no. Tears started to pour as Minnow began to cry. "I just don't understand it. How come? Why?" The girl felt a sadness she never before knew, but they had to continue on with the whale in their rear view. Next, the fish took Minnow closer to shore. He warned, "It doesn't stop here. Brace yourself, there is more." Minnow looked towards the depths and saw an endless pipe of steel. The fish shouted, "Meeting after meeting, but our kind are always left out of the deal." The fish bellowed in anger, and Minnow didn't understand. She asked, "What's so bad about steel? We have tons of it on land." The fish then brought her closer to have a better peek. Minnow started to cough as she was in the trail of a leak. "Oh no!" Minnow shouted as she watched the oil expand. "There is so much of our world humans can't even comprehend. You pollute and pollute without our consent, and now you will have to decide who you choose to represent." That's a tough choice. Minnow looked around at the barren sea. All of the life had already fled. The oil was spreading alarmingly fast. How much longer, she thought, but was too afraid to ask. The oil is hurting all of the fish. She swam to the surface to get a better look. The sight she saw next left her feeling quite shook. The birds were all covered in a black sort of tar. They were flapping their wings but couldn't get far. She knew what would happen if they couldn't take flight. The darkness would swallow everything within sight. The fish glared up at Minnow as the oil swirled near. In that moment, Minnow knew who she was, crystal clear. "I know what I have to do. I need to get back to the land." And with that, the fish looked shocked and couldn't comprehend. "Back to those monsters? Even after what you saw?" And Minnow smiled. "No, no, my fish friend. I must go back to that world so yours I can defend." So together they swam to the shore where she was from. It was then that Minnow heard her people's drum. Her breath came back and she craved the air. Her fins went away and she ran to her people who were singing a prayer. They opened their arms wide and rejoiced at her sight. But Minnow knew that she still had to fight a great fight. She looked at her people and shared what she had learned, and everyone began to grow quite concerned. Understand that. The next thing you know, they had gathered 100 nations, armed with their songs and ready to defend all their relations. For the salmon, for the whales, for the fish, for the water. No pipelines. And onward they went with a message and chant: respect Mother Earth, her waters, and land. Water is sacred. Save the ocean. Save our old growth forests. Water is life. And here's some information about the authors and creators of the book. Willie Pole is a Métis author from the Robinson Huron Treaty Territory. And Bailey Macrobey is an Agender Cree, Métis, and Ukrainian artist who is passionate about bright colors, Indigenous sovereignty, and identity. A letter from the author to you. Dear reader, Indigenous lands make up only 20% of the globe, yet they hold 80% of the world's biodiversity. The natural world thrives under Indigenous governance and stewardship, yet the colonial systems in place continue to infringe on treaty agreements, act against Indigenous water protectors, and back Indigenous communities into a corner, forcing them to sign new deals at the cost of the environment. Indigenous people are at the front lines of environmental activism, and that is never an easy process. It takes courage, dedication, perseverance, and love to be a water protector. Many Indigenous groups not only rely on the environment to survive, but their cultures are also closely related to their traditional lands. It is through oral tradition and close proximity to the land that Indigenous groups hold what we now call traditional ecological knowledge. This is an intimate knowledge of the world around us and is one of the key reasons that Indigenous people have been able to protect the biodiversity and health of the waters and lands that surround them. This book is for all our relations. All our relations refers to all of the four-legged, two-legged, feathered, and gilled relations that live alongside us. All things are related, and it's our job to help and protect one another, especially for those who do not have a voice. My hope is that by reading and connecting with Minnow, you can see your responsibilities in protecting all of our relations. With hope, Willie Paul. How to be a water protector. When you drink water, thank it for its gifts. When you use water, think about where it comes from and where it goes. Save water and only use what you really need. Turn off the tap and take shorter showers. Every little bit counts. When you go to the beach, make sure to clean up your trash. Leave nothing but your footprints behind. Organize or participate in a beach cleanup like Minnow does. Explore and learn about the water in your area. Respect marine life and appreciate it without interfering. Share what you have learned with others. Water is sacred. Thank you so much for reading Minnow, the girl who became part fish with me. I enjoyed reading this story and love the message that it has in it. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when I'm going to read my next story. Have a beautiful day. Welcome to Solo Story Time. Today we're going to be reading a book called Rocket Says Cleanup. This book is written by Nathan Bryan and illustrated by Dapo Adiola. I hope you enjoy this book today. Now let's get ready for story time. Rocket Says Clean Up. I can't sleep tonight. I'm too excited because tomorrow, me, my mom, and my big brother Jamal are going on vacation to see my Grammy and Grampy. It feels as though we've been packing forever, But now we're ready to go. I'm going to be fist pumping a turtle, dancing with a dolphin, high-fiving an octopus, and surfing the waves like awesome Amani Wilmot. Did you know Amani Wilmot created the first female surf competition in Jamaica? Hmm. As soon as we arrive, I give my Grammy and Grampy a huge hug. Animal Sanctuary. My grandparents are the best. They run whale watching tours and have an animal sanctuary behind their house. I can't wait to help. Grampy tells me we never touch wild animals unless they need to be rescued or cared for. But first, it's time to surf. My Grammy is really good. Then Mom and I build a huge sandcastle. Oh no, a baby turtle has washed up ashore, all tangled in plastic. I pick her up and gently take her to Grammy and Grampy. They can fix this. Grammy says she will try her best and takes her back to the sanctuary. Plastic is ruining these islands, Rocket, says Grampy sadly. We save as many creatures as we can, but some stay away. People used to come here to see the whales, but we haven't spotted a whale in a long time. He leads me down the beach. It feels as though there's more plastic than there is sand. I feel really sad. We need to do something. But what? The next day at the beach, there are people playing in the sand, swimming in the sea, and eating popsicles. But all I notice now is the plastic. Surely they see it too. I need to let everyone know. Did you know whales eat the plastic and it makes them sick? Did you know nearly half the trash in the sea comes directly from careless people? Did you know there are over 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic in the ocean? Soon we have lots of new friends who want to help. Look, they're all picking up trash. As the day goes on, more and more people join. We spend the whole day cleaning the beach. Even Jamal helps. The cleanup crew is amazing. And soon the beach is clean. Yay. But now, what do we do with all the plastic we collected? Teresa, part of the cleanup crew, has a brilliant idea. My mom is an artist. Maybe we could get her to create something out of it. Yes, as they high five each other. Teresa's mom makes awesome bins for trash out of the trash we collected, and the cleanup crew makes the front page of the newspaper and the TV news. Now no one will forget why we need to clean up. Everyone on the island wants clean beaches. Everyone on the island wants clean water. Everyone on the island wants to bring back the whales. The next day, Grammy and Grampy have a barbecue for the whole cleanup crew. The smell of Grammy's special sauce wafts around the island. And best of all, while everyone's talking and laughing and eating, Grampy and I release the turtle we rescued back into the sea and watch as she swims away. She's all better now. And I just know, and I just know one day the whales will come back. Grampy says, "Did you know one day you're going to change the world, Rocket?" Here's how you can help clean up the beaches. Reduce the plastic you use by switching to reusable water bottles, bringing your own bags to the grocery store, and avoiding plastic straws and utensils. Go organic with your sunscreen. Lots of the chemicals in sunscreens that aren't organic can harm wildlife when they wash off your skin and into the ocean. Dispose of your trash properly. Separate it carefully for recycling. Rinse plastic things so they can be processed by recycling plants. The end. Thank you so much for reading Rocket Says Cleanup with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you will know when I'm going to read my next story. Have a great day. Welcome to Story Time. Today we're going to be reading a book called These Olive Trees, a Palestinian family story, written and illustrated by Aya Ghaname. I look forward to reading this book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time. These Olive Trees, a Palestinian family story. Every year, Mama harvests the olives right outside the refugee camp where Orabe and her family live. This year, as she prunes the olive grove under a sky of infinite blue gray, Orabe wonders about the first person to ever taste the small oval fruit. She imagines them picking the olive and biting halfway down into its savory center. They must have waited years for the tree to produce even a single fruit. Did they like how it tasted? Arabe thinks they must have hated it. Olives don't always taste very good directly from the tree. They can be quite bitter at first. Or maybe, Arabe ponders, they were pleasantly surprised by its acidity. Arabe is always too impatient to go through the weeks-long process of curing and brining the fruit, the way her mama taught her. Too eager to taste the olive straight from the tree, she ends up disappointed by the bitter taste. But sometimes the olive surprises her, and she finds joy in their bitterness. After all, with work and patience, these bitter olives can be used to make so many things. In the refugee camp, they use the trimmings from the trees to light fires and to make ornaments and tools. They press the oil from the olives to cook and even to make soap. Sometimes her life in the camp surprises her too, and she finds happiness in the sorrow around her. Mama passes the olives to Arabe, who always helps her family in the grove. It's odd that we're gathering the olives so soon, Arabe thinks to herself. It's not harvest season quite yet. Still, Arabe prepares herself to stomp, stomp, stomp on the olives as she always does, to remove their pits and pour their oozing liquid into pressed bags. But her mama stops her. We are not cleaning or crushing any olives today, says Mama, just packing them to go. Go? Mama nods. Go? Mama and the rest of their family used to live in a village called Altira by the coast of Palestine. Generations of her family had tended the olive trees there, too, for hundreds of years. But one day before Arabe was born, the war came. They carried what they could and walked for many days until they reached the other side of the country to escape it. But they couldn't save their olive trees. Since then, they have lived in a makeshift canvas house in the Balata refugee camp near the city of Nablus. Arabe and her younger brother and sister were born here. The camp is the only home she's ever known, and there are more olive trees here. Arabe and her mama walk back from the orchard, carrying the olives and tree trimmings, but within the camp, piles of blankets and boxes now line the rows of tents. Families frantically load trucks with bundles of wrapped canvas. Are we going on a trip? Arabe asks. Yes, dear. Mama's eyes look misty. The war has come to our doorstep again, even in Balata camp. The sky is gray and the earth is damp with the knowledge that the war has found its way to Nablus. Where are we going? Do we have to go? Arabe asks Mama. Mama pauses. I don't know where, but wherever we go, we have each other. But what about our house? What about the olive trees? We will have a new tent. As for the trees, says Mama, we can't save them. Mama follows Arabe's siblings into the tent, helping the rest of the family gather their belongings. Alone outside, Orabe looks at the olive pits lying around their tent, the pits they had prepared to be planted in the fall. We can, she decides. I will borrow an olive and plant its seed. She is sure the earth would not mind. She looks to the sky. May I borrow your rain? She is sure the clouds would not mind either. But it may be the last time she sees the sky above her home for a while. After all, someone needs to look after the land so their olive trees live on. Gently, she plants a pit. Although olive trees take a long, long time to grow and even longer to produce olives, Arabe decides that for once she will be patient. Wait for me. One day, when we're older, I'll return to you for harvest. The end. Thank you so much for reading these olive trees with me. I hope you enjoyed this book. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when I'm going to read my next story. Have a beautiful day. Welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called Walking Together. This book is written by Elder Albert D. Marshall, who is of the Moose Clan of the Mi'kmaq Nation. Written also by Louise Zimini, who is of Hungarian descent. And illustrated by Emily Kawakijik, who is an Anishinaabe artist and visual storyteller. I look forward to reading this beautiful book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time. Walking Together. When we walk together in a good way, we learn to see the world through two eyes. We receive the gifts of Mother Earth through stories. When we walk together in a good way, things are revealed. We hear those who are returning and those who stayed, sing the lands and water awake after a deep rest. When we walk together in a good way on Turtle Island, we learn we are all connected. We are never alone. We need each other. Mommy quick, together we are strong. When we walk together in a good way, we learn about the gifts and stories of our family, of the lands and of the waters, those who were here before us and those who will be here after us. When we walk together in a good way, we learn the language of the land. When we walk together in a good way, we give back gifts by taking care of our family. We leave things where they are. We take only if there is enough. We ask before we take, and we listen for the answer. We share. We sing the Mother Earth song. We say thank you. We lelin miigwech. When we walk together in a good way, we go to what we love. We go to what we need. Water, stick, rock, frog. When we walk together in a good way, Frog is one of our teachers. We wait, listen, and watch for Frog near the ponds. We breathe in the stillness. When we walk together in a good way, things are revealed. We hear Frog croaking. We see Frog. Frog watches us. We speak Frog. When we walk together in a good way, we listen to a story about Frog. He lives in muddy water and has wrinkly skin. He did not share the gift of flowing water with the people and the animals. Ruby-throated hummingbird, wild daisies, flowing river, and sunning turtle are our teachers too. When we walk together in a good way, we share wonder as we wander and play. Watching stories, we weave and tell new stories in circle under the willow. The stories of the waters and the lands, and the teachings of the flyers, the crawlers, the swimmers, and the four-leggeds grow inside us. Like flossy milkweed seeds, they are carried on the winds for future generations. When we walk together in a good way, we remember Maui quick, together we are strong. When we take care of the land and water take care of us. Just like the braided sweetgrass, we are stronger together. When we walk together in a good way, we learn to know the world through two eyes. The end. Thank you so much for reading Walking Together with me today. I look forward to reading more stories with you, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a beautiful day. Welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading a book called We Are Water Protectors. This book is written by Carol Lindstrom, who is Anishinaabe and Métis and a fierce water protector. And this book is also illustrated by Michaela Goad, who is of Tlingit descent. She is also an award-winning illustrator, and I look forward to reading this book with you all today. Now let's get ready for story time. We are water protectors. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body, as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. Baby in mommy's belly. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. What is a black snake? When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. She's definitely a water protector. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. The earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. Protect the sacred. Stand with Standing Rock. All nations. No DAPL. Water is life. We are water protectors. Thank you so much for reading this book with me.